Happy 4th of July weekend. Welcome, inflation fighters. I just wanted to share with you how the meal plan that I made is going and some of the successes, and I'll tell you about some failures as we did this experiment with the dehydrator and the frozen bread dough. So, one of the things I did is I looked up recipes on search engines just for bagels, rolls, pizza crust, those kind of things. And of course, you can obviously make bread with the frozen bread dough. And I made the rolls for the meatball subs, but I learned there's a special way that I need to cut the bread dough to make sure that I'm getting enough puff in them so that you can actually stuff things into them. So I learned that lesson. And then I also found out that if you use a whole loaf, your bread is going to be more dense than if you use a half loaf. And I have made loaves of bread with just a half of the frozen bread dough. And my husband and son really like it because it's light, it's airy. And in fact, my son has taken sandwiches to work with that bread. So it's obviously good or he wouldn't eat it. So yeah, and if you put the bread dough in a bread pan, half of it, and you want to lengthen it, just let it sit out for a while to kind of proof, and then tip it because it'll stretch in that direction. It'll go down to the edge of the pan, so you'll get basically a full loaf of bread that way, and it'll be lighter. So now onto the dehydrator, which I pulled out. Watch out, shaky camera. Very basic one. Like I said, I've had this for 11 years and I never used it until now. This is the dryer. This is the stack for the trays. And the trays do need to be hand washed. I would say mainly, here are the trays. I would say mainly because they're kind of flimsy. So it's best just to wash them by hand so you don't have any problems with them. So then the next thing is the product of the dehydrator. Here, let's see if you can see it. This is it. There's peaches, pineapple, and strawberries in here. Now, thankfully, my husband likes this. I didn't care for it very much. I mean, I've never really had dried fruit other than like raisins or cranberries, which are store-bought. But he said it's all good. They said that the peaches, which were canned, came out more like a fruit roll-up. And the pineapple was just a little chewy, but he liked it that way. And the strawberries were just crisp. They're almost like they're freeze-dried. So anyway, so we're leaving this out for everybody to munch on while it's here. Now, let's talk about this bread. So this is a full loaf of here, and I tried to stretch it onto a basic 13x9 pan. This is as far as I could get it, which makes for a thicker crust. It's going to be more dense, but it'll work for what we wanted it for tonight, which is pizza. So then I made two smaller ones in a square cake pan, two smaller crusts. You have to pre-bake them when you make them. Just so that they're not falling apart or the toppings don't get done before the crust does. So this is the way to do it, and that is what we're doing. As far as the meal plan goes, we've had everything on the meal plan that I made up, so that's going really good, and it's been interesting. My husband tried a lot of different foods this way. We had, it's been at least a decade since I made a meatball sub, and he really liked it a lot. The cornflake chicken was a hit. It's the first time I ever made it, and it's basically just using crushed cornflakes as a like a breadcrumb, so, or sort of like a shake and bake. But it turned out really well. And then I also marinated ahead of time some drumsticks from that package because they came in a dozen. So I marinated them with some older Greek vinaigrette that we had in the refrigerator and cooked them in the slow cooker. And as you can see, the fur babies are back there barking at everything that goes past the window. Of course, the little one barks way more than the big one. At any rate, so let's see, what else did I make? Well, tonight, and then Thursday we designated as leftovers. And really, my husband kind of cleaned that all out. So, you know, we did everything. We didn't even have to put anything in the freezer, which was great. Then, tonight we're having pizza. And as you saw, we had received the rack of ribs, and we do have a smoker that I gave my husband years ago, and he's excited to be able to smoke something in there over the weekend. We're not sure exactly what day. So we changed our meal plan here, and we're going to try to use all of the pantry meats up first, just because a lot of them are reduced price and things like that. So, but it's fine. I know we're going to be able to make a lot of meals off of it. So anyway, we'll be having the ribs and the corn and the baked beans that came. So, you know, that's a whole meal right there. And then that affects the rest of our weekend. So we're kind of going to wing it a little bit. I know that we were going to have Cuban sandwiches, but we don't need to have that anymore because of the ribs and such. So, more than likely what's going to happen is, you know, we'll come up with something tomorrow, you know, just like, okay, let's decide what day are we doing the ribs, what day are we going to have, you know, something different. And we've got pasta options, we've got, what was the other thing, like sandwich things. I think we still have Easter ham in the freezer, plus the ones that we received. So we're going to use up the Easter ham first and make some ham and cheese more than likely, and just kind of go from there. So, you know, you'd be surprised what you end up making. I like to do a dip or a hors d'oeuvre or something like that on the weekends. Just something out of the ordinary that I wouldn't make during the week. So I'm going to make a queso dip with some of the cream cheese. And then I received a can of chilies and a can of tomatoes with chilies. And those Anaheim peppers that we received yesterday from the pantry. So I'm going to make a dip with that, you know. And again, I just did a search engine, putting in my ingredients, and was like, recipe for queso using cream cheese. And it pretty much came up then. So, yeah. So, and tonight on our pizzas, we're going to have leftover Italian sausage, which was in the freezer from a previous pasta dish that we had. And then there was also some hard salami, a few slices of hard salami. So that'll be our toppings for that. And then we have canned mushrooms, onions, and black olives, and we'll be putting that on it too. So, you know, basic pizza stuff. But anyway, so that's how the meal plan's going. I'll have a new meal plan for next week, and I'll talk about it with you. But I hope you have a really wonderful weekend, and we'll see how the weekend goes. if I'm going to do a video on Monday or not. So at any rate, be well, be blessed, and know you're taken care of.